Shalom, shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Radash. Secondly, I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth in righteousness and in sincerity. And third of all, I want to give salutations to the hopeful elect that's out on the highways and byways teaching and preaching this word in truth and in sincerity. The title of this lesson is going to be Some Were Blinded. Once again, some were blinded. And who is that some going into? 2/3 out of the entire nation of Israel. You know, you have 144,000 right along with the 1/3 being the great multitude. You know, those two numbers, the 144,000, you know, being the men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the 1/3 being, you know, mainly women and children. You know, they were elected out of the nation of Israel to be saved, you know, to be able to perceive this truth, you know, for their eyes to be able to be opened. But 2/3 of the nation of Israel, they have been blinded, you know. This truth has been taken away from them, you know. The ability to have faith in our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you know, has been taken away from them. So I'll start this lesson off with the book of Romans chapter 11 and verse 7. And it reads, "What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for." Right. So what are we seeking for, you know, as the Israelites, you know, as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? You know, what are we seeking? We're seeking for salvation. You know, we're seeking for the truth. You know, we're seeking to figure out, you know, why we are in this hellish condition that we're in and, you know, what to do to get out of it. You know, that's what we're seeking for. You know, we're seeking for truth, you know, which is of our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you know. So it says, "What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for." Right. The entire nation of Israel hasn't. It says, "But the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded." So that elect out of the nation of Israel, you know, being the 144,000, right along with the great multitude being mainly women and children, you know, that 1/3, you know, they have been chosen out of the nation to, you know, be woken up. You know, the 144,000 being, you know, the men, you know, they are out on the highways and byways teaching and preaching this truth today, you know, till this day. You know, they have been woken up, you know, one by one. And as time goes on, you know, you have more and more members of the elect that are waking up and spreading this word. And those who have the ears to hear and the eyes to see, they perceive this truth and they are brought in as well. But you have some, on the other hand, that they don't have the ability to see. You know, their eyes are blinded, you know, and they can't hear with their ears because their ears has been stopped up spiritually, you know. So for them, as it says, "And the rest were blinded," you know, like it says, they were blinded, you know. And it says in verse 8, according as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear, unto this day. Right, so to this very day, the majority of the nation of Israel, 2/3 out of the entire nation of Israel, are blind. You know, they can't hear and they can't see this truth, you know. But them having that spirit, you know, to want to, you know, because naturally, you know, we're supposed to be serving our power. So, you know, we have that the natural desire to serve, but them being blinded, you know, and not being able to serve, you know, our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, they naturally go along and start trying to cling on everything else that they could serve. All of these other gods, serving these ideologies, these different ways of life, but they despise the way of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, their power, and that leads them to, be forsaken and to just be left out in this wicked world, to be caught up by all of the snares and traps that are within this wicked world, And it says, according as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber. Right, so let's grab that word slumber. So this is slumber, and it says, a pricking, piercing, severe sorrow, extreme grief. Right. It also says insensibility or torpor of mind, such as extreme grief easily produces. Right. So the majority of our people being blinded, that brings that extreme sorrow and grief, that severe sorrow and that extreme grief, because ultimately living in this wicked world, this griefful, this world full of grief and sorrow, if you don't have your source, you don't have your power source, your light source, you're going to end up getting overwhelmed by the darkness within this world, and you will become dark yourself. You will become, one with this world, and all of the things that are of this world, they will be of you, and you will be able to easily cling unto these different energies and negatives that are of this world, which is severe sorrow, extreme grief, because you're lost, so you're grieving. Your spirit is grieving because you're lost and you're blind. You might not understand why, you so bitter in life, and, everything you do, you just got such a negative outlook on, but the Lord knows, if you are separated from your power source, if you got an iPhone and you leave your charger at the house and you gone for 2 days with no chargers, using your phone is eventually going to die, and that's what our people, that despise Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai are going through, they are spiritually dead, because they have been separated from their source, their spiritual charger, their spiritual power, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Therefore, they're like zombies just walking dead. They can't see, they can't hear, they just walking around, clinging onto everything that they can feel, which is all of these different doctrines, these different religions, everything that they can see, because that's where faith really comes in. With the truth of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you got to be able to believe it more than you can see it, It's a lot of things, a lot of prophecies, and a lot of promises within the scriptures that you have to believe, you have to have faith in before you see them, because they're not of this world. But I don't mean to get too off topic. It says insensibility or torpor of mind. And when you go into this word, insensibility, it means unconsciousness. Right. And then, so it says unconsciousness or torpor of mind. So what is torpor? That word means a state of physical or mental inactivity, lethargy. Right. So a state of physical or mental inactivity. Right. So being stuck in that idle state, our people, the majority of our people that have been blinded, they are stuck in that idle state, that state of unconsciousness, you know, and through all of this grief and sorrow and just, all of the fire of this world, it leads our people to, lose complete sense of consciousness, and they just become in a complete dead state because they're being beat down by this world. But they don't have that spiritual charger, which is our power source, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi, to continuously recharge them, day by day, giving them, signs and, just doing all kind of different spiritual things to help recharge them. Those are benefits that the Lord gives to those who believe, to the elect, because they are the only ones that believe on this side, But it says, such as extreme grief easily produces, right? So that extreme grief brings that just straight up, it's like you become like just like a potato, you just unconscious, you just stuck. If you see these army vets, they go through a whole lot of traumas, while they in the service, and then when they get out, they be a shell of themselves. They be quiet, they don't do too much, they desensitized to a lot. That's how these people in this world are, when it comes to this truth, and just when it comes to believing or being able to expand their consciousness and get rid of these lies. They have been beat down so much with these lies through their life that some have lost hope in there being a truth, because they've, been shown so many lies, and they've been beat down, and their trust has been beat down from all of these lies. So they believe that, they can never find the truth. And you have some that, they get beat down by these lies, and ultimately these lies, they cause them to believe them, They get stuck in one lie, and they believe that that's their bread and butter, that sounds good to them. So they have fear of anything, of that being wrong, so they don't want to seek the truth. If they hear somebody bringing something out that's debunking whatever they're following, they get scared and they buck up against it, because they know if they are taken away from whatever they thought was the truth, they're going to have to be brought to this new truth, and that old truth is going to have to become a lie, and they're going to have to change, and that change is what also stops a lot of Israelites, from obeying Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi, because they have to make a complete change from the ways of this world. It says in A down here, hence a spirit of stupor which renders their souls torpid, so insensible that they are not affected at all by the offer made them of salvation through the Messiah. Right. Yahawashi sacrificing himself, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His name is Yahawashi. His true name is Yahawashi. Him making that sacrifice, his blood covering the elect, but 2/3 of our nation, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, they care nothing about the sacrifice of Yahawashi. They care nothing about the promises that were promised to us by the Heavenly Father. They're just stuck in that spirit of stupor, like it says, in the spirit of slumber, and it says, which renders their souls torpid. What does torpid mean? Mentally or physically inactive, right? So that spirit of stupor renders their souls inactive, they have no spiritual growth, and that causes them, like it says, to become so insensible that and let's grab this word, insensible. It says without one's mental faculties, typically a result of violence or intoxication, unconscious, unaware. It says unaware, or down here on number 2, unaware of or indifferent to, too small or gradual to be perceived. Right, so this sacrifice of Yahawashi to 2/3 of our nation, it's a small thing. This truth, these promises and the prophecies that are coming, the evil judgments that our Lord is going to be sending out, all of these things are small to 2/3 of our nation, and everything in the world is big to them. And that's why they so easily, disassociate from what is being preached, because it's little to them. It's small. It's insignificant because it's not right in front of their face, So it says also in number 1, without one's mental faculties, typically a result of violence or intoxication. Right. And this was a violent intoxication. This indoctrination that we have gone through as a nation, being stripped from our heritage and being given, the heritage of our enemy, having, our names taken away, the images of us taken away, and being called, the wicked nation, being classified as black people, the dark nation, the nation of darkness, because that's pretty much what that means when Esau Edom is actually the nation of darkness, the wicked, His works are wicked and dark, naturally. And naturally our works are, righteous and light, but we have been put within these fleshly bodies, these wicked carnal bodies, and they pollute our judgment, But it says right here, Romans 11:7, what then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So the elect, they have received this truth, They are able to perceive what's going on in this world and connect it to the scriptures, They are able to see the kingdom of Yahawashi before it has even been established on earth, But it says, and the rest were blinded. That's why when you, as an Israelite that believes, try to talk to one of your friends in the world, let you try to talk to them about spiritual powers or, the kingdom of Yahawashi coming, in the fall of Esau Edom's kingdom. Let you try to talk to one of your worldly friends about that. They gonna be looking at you crazy because they were blinded, Their spirits are stagnated, so they have no spiritual evolution to the point where, they're stuck in this low worldly state, this carnal state. They're growing in the flesh, growing stronger in the flesh, but in the spirit, they grow weaker and weaker. because their spiritual charger, has been unplugged, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They have been disconnected from their power. So it says in verse 8, according as it is written, God has given them the spirit of slumber. So this was given to them by the Heavenly Father. Eyes that they should not see and ears that they should not hear unto this day. So, that's just the bottom line. And let me grab 2 Corinthians 4:4. And I'm going to close it off on here. And it reads, in whom the power of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. That's why they were blinded, because they didn't believe. The Lord didn't just blind them just because, he couldn't wake up, more than, the 144,000 and the 1/3 on this side. It wasn't because waking up the whole nation on this side was too mighty for our power. It's not that he couldn't, but the Lord just didn't want to. There was some that was chosen to be woken up on this side and to be saved due to their election, by them, and due to the elect, bottom line, they're going to show their faith through their works. They're going to do those things that the elect would do to be saved. But ultimately, the main reason that they're being saved is because they were chosen to be saved from the foundation of the earth. Everything else the Lord has happened because of their lot, because of their election, whether they go in the right or the wrong direction. But it reads, in whom the power of this world has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. Right, so that's just it. The Lord don't want everybody to have this truth. This truth it's not for everybody, Everybody can't get this 100% truth. And not everybody can be saved, Some are going to have to taste of death and some won't, And I'm speaking of the nation of Israel, Some will be able to witness the fall of their enemy, which is Esau, Edom. And some will have to fall with their enemy, Esau, Edom, and be reborn in the kingdom of heaven. Perfect. With a perfect mind and a perfect body. But they're going to have to receive of that judgment, for following the enemy, So they're going to get judged like the enemy. But that's the mercy of the Lord, because they're still going to be reborn in the kingdom of heaven. But, no one wants to taste of that judgment. That's not something that I'll settle. Well, if I'll be reborn in the kingdom, I guess I'll just settle and enjoy this worldly life. Nah, you're supposed to just fight regardless, And that's what 2/3 of our nation are not doing, and they don't understand. That's why they're going to be destroyed, because they don't want to fight. They just want to relax. So it says, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. So this light, this illuminating light, that shines upon you and reveals the darkness within you, that guides you through the darkness to the light, which is the kingdom of heaven. This light, this same light is the same light that, is being, hidden and kept away from certain people, certain members within the nation of Israel. They are not able to receive the light to guide them on their path, to reveal certain rocks and pits before, they step in them, because with the elect, that light is shining in front of them, showing them, revealing the traps and the person who set the traps. But when it comes to the 2/3 of Israel, they're blind and they're within darkness. So just imagine that. You blind and you in a pitch black room full of a whole lot of different obstacles and traps that can catch you. Our people are getting caught up in all kind of traps, all kind of religions, all kind of ways of life. You got the LGBT, LGB, that's a trap. It's a snare, You got Christianity, Jesus Christ, that's a trap, that's a snare, and our people are blind. They can't hear the warnings and they can't see what's in front of them, the danger that's in front of them, because they've been blinded. So that was the point of the lesson. You got some that can see and you got some that can't. And that's just the bottom line. So when you preaching this truth, you got somebody that approach you, while you out at camp, and they can't perceive this truth. They can't hear what you're saying. At a point, you just got to understand that they've been blinded. You sow the seed, but the Lord gives the increase. So, if they're not of the elect, they just won't get it, and that's the bottom line. But I hope you brothers and sisters was edified and that the point was brought out clearly. And until next time, Shalom.